just wanted to talk about a little about the some of the signs that I noticed with my son, that he still does a lot of them, but one of them was like fixating on something that they really like, that are interested in. It's like one thing.
Yes.
And for him, it was dinosaurs. And for years, it's funny, we had a dinosaur birthdays like every year, because we knew he loves that.
Yes.
Every time he gets super excited, like it's his first time, like anything dinosaurs, books, toys, coloring books, anything, bed set, anything you name dinosaur, he's obsessed over it.
Yes.
But as he grew up a little bit, he started liking other stuff too, but it was dinosaurs for him. So that's one sign of autistic people, that they like fixate on one thing and they play just with one thing.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
for Leo, his thing that he loves so much is Disneyland. Everything Disney.
Yeah.
He'll watch every YouTube video that is
Yeah.
made about Disneyland, and he knows everything about all of the different parks.
Yeah.
And then one thing though that is interesting with Leo is like on top of the obsession though, is he has to go like the same direction, like when we're walking. I think this is very common for a lot of kids. And when we're driving, and it came up for me when we talked about Disneyland, because one time, because of traffic, I was using an app that was like, there's an accident, you have to go a different way, and he had a full-on meltdown, panic. It was like probably one of my worst days of like, because we went a different route. And so that was another thing that I noticed, like, or if we're on a walk, now we try to switch it. Going to talk about some of the signs of autism, and one of the signs of autism is they like to follow a routine, and they like to go the same routes in the car and when you're walking, and this is all part of them wanting to have that same routine. And this is a very common sign of kids with autism. For instance, my son, we're driving to somewhere that we go a lot, like to school or to Disneyland, he wants to go that same route, and if I go on a different route, it throws him off and he might have a meltdown or a panic attack. And also when we're walking, he likes to have the same routine. He wants to go the long way when we do a certain walk that we do in our neighborhood, and if we change it, he might have a meltdown, for instance. And then it has to be the same things on the walk. He wants to see the same things that we always see every time that we walk. So one time when we were walking, it was just the first week of January, right after the holidays had passed, and we had been doing the walk during the holiday season. And so when we did the walk, he was expecting to see the Christmas lights and to see his favorite character, Bluey, on one of the front lawns. And so we were doing the walk, and when he first noticed that the house that didn't have the decorations up, he said,
"Christmas is not over.
Christmas is gone." He shouted out. He's like, "It can't be. Christmas can't be over. Christmas is not over." And then we were like, "It's okay. It's okay. We have to keep walking." And he was shouting it out. And then later on in the walk, as we were coming back down, we came across that house where he's expecting to see Bluey, and that's his favorite character. He's carrying Bluey at the time.
I love Bluey.
Because he's so excited to see this house with Bluey, and when it was not there, he just freaked out because he was like, "Bluey, where's Bluey? Christmas is not over," and he just had a full panic attack. So it's just about me.
Routine. For example, like one day I parked at a different spot at school. He because I always park at a certain place when I walk into school, and it's short. But one day I couldn't find parking, so I parked in the street.
Yeah.
And he noticed it right away because it wasn't his routine.
Right.
It wasn't his normal routine. So what happened was he started like throwing a huge tantrum. It was a few months ago, and he cried so much I couldn't hold him physically because he was so upset. But I was trying to make him safe.
Yes.
So like he was on the floor, I was on the floor, completely on the floor. It's a funny story too, because there was chalk writings all over the floor. The kids drew at the school, and then everyone's looking at me, and then I'm on the floor holding him, but not the special needs parents, because they know, but the other section of the school, they're all looking at me. I'm on the floor, like physically trying to like hold him down and just make sure his head is not on the concrete. And then I have chalk all over me, and I'm trying to, and the teacher came and helped me, but this was all because of the routine. It was because of me parking somewhere else, and he just didn't want that.
Yes.
So it's just like a whole different world. Start this time talking about how when my son got diagnosed with autism, and when we saw the sign, he was like nonverbal, and then At one point, I even thought he was deaf because he couldn't hear. I was noticing like sounds around him. He wasn't looking or paying attention. And when I would call his name, he wouldn't respond at all.
Another sign of autism is not responding to your name. And so at the beginning, when our son was around 2, we did notice that he wasn't responding to his name. And he was watching television a couple of times, and I thought, well, maybe he's just really focused and not responding. But his dad really was concerned because he would literally shout his name and nothing. And he's like, I think something's definitely wrong with his hearing. You need to take him to an audiologist and figure out what's going on with his hearing. And later on, we did find out that, of course, it wasn't his hearing. He had perfect hearing. If anything, he has great hearing, but it is a sign of autism. Another sign of autism is stimming, and this is a way that they self-regulate and it calms them. And so some of the different stems that kids with autism have are spinning, rocking, there's a lot, hand flapping, a lot of different ways. And the ones that we noticed that our son did quite often, but we didn't know what it was at the time, one was that he did a lot of spinning. We would watch these little like dance videos. It was called like the Dance Time Boys, and he would do these spins, and we were like, oh wow. And his dad was even like, oh, maybe he's gonna be an ice skater because he loves to like spin so much. And we started even counting them, like, or 1, 2, like how many spins can he do? And we thought it was just something that was part of his that it was maybe even a gift for him. But later on we found out that was a stem, and that's a sign of autism. And another one that our son does is that he does a lot of like the hand flapping. And I remember when my mom was visiting, she was like, I've never seen a kid so excited and so animated. He even like flaps his hands because he's so excited. And then later on we found out that the hand flapping is a sign of autism. It's one of the stims that they can do. And as far as the stimming goes, for myself, I know there's a lot of behavior therapies that try to curb that stimming and try to like keep it to a minimum for social situations, and I understand that methodology. But for myself, unless it's harming himself or others, I embrace the stems. I find it endearing, and it's part of who he is. It's his way of expressing himself. So I don't stop them unless it's interfering with something specific.